Hello, and welcome to Desert Mask Gaming. I am your host, Krevix. I hope you're enjoying spring, as spring has sprung, and it is very, very warm here. I just have a short video today. I want to talk about a few things. I don't normally cover multiple topics, but there's a few things that I wanted to talk about. So this week has seen some interesting news, and the first thing I want to talk about are the Crimson Desert reviews. I didn't do that on purpose. Now, some of you might know that I did a reaction video last week to the Crimson Desert launch trailer. I kinda glazed it. That was the first I'd really seen of the game, and it looked very cool. And I stand by that. That's still up. It does look very cool. I think at one point I might have said, yeah, it looks like a Game of the Year contender, which normally it would, just from the trailer, but I had forgotten that that's just off the table by virtue of GTA 6 releasing this year, assuming GTA 6 is real. I'm of the notion that that's not real. That's not a real thing. But that's neither here nor there. But the reviews for the game have been very mixed. Not what I expected at all. And I did get to experience about 2 hours of the game, and I say experience because I didn't play it. I was about to buy it. And my friend, which I'm just going to refer to as my R&D department, he's research and developing opinions. Well, he was already downloading it. And so I said, let me take a look. I want to watch you play the first couple hours. And I'll just say this. The game is probably not for me. At least the intro really just did not inspire me to want to play a lot of this. But I'm not here to be a hater about it. Because if you're going to tell me that this game gets fantastic later on, I'd probably be inclined to believe you. Just based on the scale of the game. I mean, it's enormous. It's so big, in fact, that most of the gaming journalists who were reviewing this game have not themselves been able to cover everything. Well, right now on Metacritic, it's sitting at 78 for the Metascore. User score is 7.7. And that's on Saturday, March 21st. And you know what? Critic reviews are mixed. As well as user reviews are mixed. I mean, I'm seeing zeros and tens. Huge discrepancies, right? One man's zero is another man's 10, I guess. But just looking at some of them, like Game Informer gave it a 70, Crimson Desert is a beautiful exploration-rich open world game that's a clear technological achievement, hampered by a cornucopia of little frustrations and a stark lack of narrative depth. Critical hits. Crimson Desert draws attention for its ambitious open-world adventure proposal, but the experience ultimately falls short of expectations. The game features a confusing narrative with uninteresting characters and missions that feel like a generic MMO. And then you've got this score of 100 saying, if you are someone who wants a more linear cinematic story-driven campaign, Crimson Desert might not be for you. However, if you love the sense of freedom and discovery that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild had, then Crimson Desert is the next big game in that genre. Pearl Abyss has truly created something special here that I suspect we'll be talking about for years to come. So, generally mixed. I don't know what I expected, really. I guess I kind of have gotten used to the critic scores being really low on the good games with the user score high, and then the critic scores being really high on the bad games with the user scores being really low. So this is kind of a break from that. Everybody seems kind of split down the middle. What did you think? If you've played it, if you've got 15 hours, 20 hours in it at this point, are you feeling it? You must be at that point, right? You're probably enjoying it. For me personally, it just didn't inspire me to really want to spend the $70 or whatever it is and the 150 gigabytes of space on my hard drive on it. But if you tell me it's a fantastic game, I 100% believe you. And if you tell me that you hated it, well, I believe that too. I'm not one to all over your hobby and tell you what you can and can't enjoy. But moving on to something objectively good, Nintendo released a firmware update for their Nintendo Switch 2 hardware earlier this week. Last week? Yeah, earlier this week. And they added something new, something that actually matters on this particular firmware update. They added something they're calling boost mode. And they haven't gone out of their way to talk about it much, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit right now. Is first off, you're going to have to turn it on yourself. You're going to need to navigate down to your system settings. You're going to go all the way to the bottom. You're going to find something called Nintendo Software Handling under System. And then you're going to turn that little box on when you go in there. And what this boost mode does is now when you are running a Nintendo Switch 1 game through backwards compatibility on your Nintendo Switch 2, it will behave as though it is in docked mode, meaning you will no longer have touchscreen functionality and your Joy-Cons will act as a Pro Controller, but whatever resolution boost or visual enhancement or frame rate enhancement or anything that came along with the docked version of the game you're playing, you are now essentially playing the docked version of the game. So if the game ran at 720 in handheld, but jumped up to 1080 in docked mode, when you play that game through backwards compatibility in handheld mode on the Switch 2, with this feature turned on, it will now be the docked version at 1080. And what those enhancements might be is going to vary wildly from game to game. And it is noticeable. It is a noticeable change. So this is a huge W for Switch 2 owners. A lot of people have said, hey, this should have been here from the beginning. Yeah, maybe. But it's here now. It does make a difference. It may give you an excuse to go back, download some games from your library, check the back catalog, see how they're running now. I mean, that in addition to some games getting the raw power boost and some games having the upgrade pack, it's starting to come together for Switch 2 owners, slowly but surely. And finally, Starfield is set to release on PlayStation 5 on April 7th. So that's coming up next month. I'm probably going to do a dedicated video in regards to this because I have things to say about Starfield. I have played that game quite a bit, and I'm probably going to end up having to play it more to capture some gameplay. I'm a recovering Bethesda fan, and we don't console war over here, so I'm really happy that PlayStation 5 owners are getting access to this game. But I want PlayStation 5 bros to be prepared in case they haven't looked into Starfield that much, because they don't have the same advantages that Xbox and PC players had of being able to play it on Game Pass first and know what you're getting into without investing that $70 or $60 or whatever they're charging for it now. I know this has been a shorter video this week, but I'm going on vacation from my day job here in about a week, and I'll have time to maybe upload a little bit more often during that vacation. Mostly want to spend time with my family, but I'll have some downtime. I upload every weekend. If you just want somebody to hang out with and talk about video games, give me a like and a subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you back here in about a week. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about Crimson Desert. Let me know what you thought about the Nintendo update on the firmware. Boost mode. Does it make a difference for you? Did you find a lot of value in it? And we'll be talking about Starfield pretty soon.